Dr. Serene, how are you today?
Hi, Weiliang. Thank you so much. I'm fine.
Thank you. You're connecting from Penang.
Yes, I'm from Penang.
Thank you for your time for being here with us today. Right? Really, thank you very much. So, after Dr. Serene is going to talk about managing supervisors. So, as I told you, I have 8 years of experience, right, doing my master's and PhD, and I can proudly conclude. There's one conclusion that I draw from my postgraduate studies, right? So this is a conclusion. Everybody please get ready your pen and you have to write down, right? All supervisors are nice. Everybody write down in your notebook, all supervisors are nice. Comma, as long as you don't disagree with them. Everybody write there. Right? All supervisors are nice as long as you don't disagree with them, right? I'm just joking. So I was fortunate actually in terms of supervisors during my studies, especially my PhD, I got no issues with my supervisors, Dr. Ho, Dr. Serene, and Prof. Murali. And the reason why I think is that really I have seen some of my peers that have a lot of issues with their supervisors. For me, I was fortunate enough. I think it's not because of I always only solo dance to their tune, but it's a lot of it's a two-way street, right? I talk a lot with my supervisors and I dance with them together. They also dance with me together. It's not a one-way street. It's a duet. It's a cha-cha that we are doing there. So a lot of things we reached an agreement, and a lot of things we got through really simply and really well. So Dr. Serene has one saying, right? Dr. Serene believes in one thing. She told me, right? I learned this from her. She says, your dream supervisors, that is in your notebook, please write down, right? You should write down there. Your dream supervisors only exist where, Dr. Serene?
In your dream.
Yes. Your dream supervisors only exist in your dream. People, stop looking for a perfect supervisor. There's no perfect supervisors. Your perfect dream supervisor is only exists in your dream. So after 13 years of experience of supervision experience, Dr. Serene, so what do you see the top problems that students face in terms of managing supervisors?
Thank you, Dr. Chan Weiliang, again for hosting this event. Very energized this morning. Yeah, very good energy we're having here. Let's keep up the energy. Yeah. Based on my, very well done. Based on my supervision experience, basically like what Weiliang has just mentioned, I have graduated 10 PhD candidates. At the same time, there are also a few who did not make it. Yeah, who did not make it, as in they have to withdraw from the program. I hope wasn't because of me. I guess very much because they really do not have time for PhD. Yeah, they do not have time for PhD. The fact that each one of us are given about 10 PhD students to be supervised as main supervisor. At the same time, we are co-supervisor another 20. At one point of time, we have about 30 students. Yeah, 30 topics to be, to actually thinking, to read and to follow up. At the same time, basically trying to make time for everyone. So some students, they make it because they manage a supervisor, and some students, they did not make it because they did not manage a supervisor. They thought their supervisors are going to remind them what to do next. Actual fact, we do not have time to manage students. We want students to manage us. Dr. Chan Weiliang is a very good example. Yeah, Dr. Chan being a full-time worker, basically full-time working, part-time study. Part-time studying is very, very challenging. But Dr. Weiliang make it mainly because he manages supervisor very well. At the same time, he manages time very well. He managed time very, very well. Supervisors management from Dr. Chan's way of doing it, he take supervisors' comment very, very seriously. Yeah, when we have committee meeting will not happen every month. Committee meetings basically happens maybe one semester. Most of the time, Dr. Chan Weiliang worked with Dr. Ho, being the main supervisor, and Dr. Chan addressed almost 99%. Yeah, I think 1% Dr. Chan would maybe disagree with Dr. Ho. And
No, it's the other way around. It's 1% I change and 99%.
oh, no wonder.
I'm just
No
joking.
wonder it took 5 years. Anyway, for a part-time study student, for a part-time study, making it to complete PhD within 5 years is definitely, yeah, commendable. Very well done on that.
Thank you.
Majority of my students who started as part-time student, I think 3 of them, they started part-time. They did not make it, yeah, because they cannot manage work and study at the same time. So at the end, I have to tell them, if you do not progress as what I advise, if you do not address my comment accordingly, I will have to terminate you. Terminate as in after 2 semesters, no progress. We have to give unsatisfactory report, and with that report, the system automatically send you a termination letter. Yeah. So basically, termination is definitely not the best way to end, or maybe for a PhD, to end a PhD journey. So I have to talk with them. I tell them, instead of getting terminated, why don't you withdraw from the program? If you withdraw from the program when you're ready, you know that you have time for PhD, you come back, UPM still accept you. Otherwise, UPM will not consider you if you are being terminated. Yeah, termination status is not. Yeah, it's definitely the end of PhD journey in UPM. Yeah, you can consider other university after that, but it's definitely not the best way. So what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, your main supervisor's comments are very, very important. Dr. Wyland was trying to say that he did not really mean what he said to a certain extent. He said, as long as you agree with your supervisors, you do not need to agree with the supervisors all the time. Yeah, we allow students to think, we allow students to give us idea. In fact, PhD is about if about students being the expert, yeah, being the expert of the topic. Supervisors are not the expert of the topic. At the end of the day, you are the one who carry the PhD hat. So what we want is independent thoughts. We want you to think, but when you disagree, give us justification. Give us good justification why you disagree. There must be solid justification. Yeah, solid justification. So generally, the problem that I encountered so far, for those who did not make it to PhD, yeah, from my own experience, and also from other students' experience, yeah, from what I see, colleagues' complaints, or maybe colleagues' supervision. Generally, these candidates are not taking their supervisors' words seriously. Yeah, seriously, they are not taking their supervisors' words seriously. They keep complaining about their supervisor not helping them. They keep comparing supervisor. Yeah, they keep saying that other supervisors are doing so well, other supervisors are helping so much, but my supervisor did not help me at all. My supervisor keep saying that I need to read more, but did not tell me exactly what to do. Again, stop comparing. Dream supervisor does not exist. You need to do your part. Yeah, you need to do your part. All supervisors are trying their best, yeah, to help students and to make sure that students graduate, yeah, because that is one of the supervisors' KPI. One of supervisors' KPI. So basically, first, students need to know that supervisors play a very, very significant role in your PhD journey. Very, very significant. Why? Because PhD evaluation is very subjective. Very, very subjective. Your passing or your failure, very much depending on a few people, only a few people. In UPM's case, PhD passing, whether or not you meet PhD requirement, is determined by 7 people. Only 7 people. Who are these 7 people? Number one, your main supervisor. Number two, your 2 co-supervisors. Basically, one main supervisor, 2 co-supervisor, 3 of them in the supervisory committee. Your 3 examiners and 1 chairperson. In UPM, 7 people determine your passing or your failing. So as long as you are able to manage the expectation of these 7 people, you are fine. You do not need to worry about other supervisors' thought. You do not need to worry about your friends, what your friends is thinking about your work, what your family is thinking about your work. Don't worry about them. Whatever comment outside of these 7 people is not relevant to you. You just need to listen to these 7 people. All right, but you do not get to see your examiners until you submit your thesis. You do not get to see your chairperson until you are doing your comprehensive exam or proposal defense. So the first few semesters, yeah, I would say semester 1 until semester 4, you depend 100% on your main supervisor. 100%, on your main supervisor. Whatever your main supervisor says, you just listen because you have not done PhD. Your main supervisor have done PhD. They know PhD expectation. They are also examiners to other candidates. So whatever they say makes sense. Makes sense. You listen and you do. You can disagree, but you need to disagree with solid reason. You cannot just disagree and saying because I disagree, that's all, because I don't feel this is right. All right. So generally, the reason why people do not progress well or maybe do not complete PhD, I would say number one reason is they did not work well with supervisor. They did not take their supervisor's comments seriously.
Okay. So, Dr. Srin, I just jump into one question that this what some of the participants asked. So they're asking whether must they follow. I can't remember who asked this question, but I'm addressing the question now, right? So for those who are here, it's beneficial. Thank you for coming in early again, and that's what you can get. When you come in early, you get more, right? So this particular question says, must they follow whatever the supervisors want in terms of topic, in terms of, some students, when they start, they don't know anything, right?
Okay, yeah, very good question. Very good question. Topic wise, you have to work with your PhD material for at least 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. If you complete PhD within 3 years, you're considered graduate on time, GOT. So since you need to work with your own topic for so long, is preferable, it's better that you choose your own topic. Better that you choose your own topic, a topic that is close to your heart, so that you are motivated to read about that topic. But
Totally agree with that.
Totally agree. Yes, I understand.
Totally.
I know your topic very well. I know you defend your topic very well. So if the students able to defend the topic very well, read a lot, knows a lot about the topic, supervisor will just agree. Supervisor definitely agree. It's better and easier for the supervisor to supervise if students choose their own topic, right? However, there are also students who choose a topic which is not good enough for PhD, right? The topic may be too simple. The topic may be too simple. Too much have been done for that topic. No real gaps, no literature gap, no industry issue. Then we cannot just allow the student to proceed because the expectation, the work may not meet examiner's expectation. At the end, the student may not make it, and the supervisor will not be feeling good about it. So topic wise, I would say it's good that the student choose on their own, and with that, their own selection, they will take more ownership. Some examples that we hear from other supervisors, when students are being offered to work under their grant, supervisors, we lecturers, we are expected to get grant, research grant, and we are expected to at least have one active grant. So sometimes we may offer PhD student to take up one part of the grant and work together. That is actually a good strategy because with the grant, the supervisor will be motivated to meet the grant's milestone. The grants are basically progress milestone, and the students at the same time, definitely progress because with the grant milestone met, the students' progress will also be met. But because the topic wasn't something that is close to the student's heart, the student sometimes the students keep blaming the supervisor, talking to other students, telling them this is not my topic. I don't, my supervisor made me do this topic. I'm not interested, therefore I'm not progressing well. So at the end, supervisors are being blamed. So either way is fine.
Okay.
My own case, my own experience. When I started my PhD in Australia, I had my own topic, and then subsequently, when my supervisors invited me to join her grant topic, I just took it. I just changed my topic. I changed my topic after working for 6 months, almost 6 months on my own topic, and I thought that was the right decision because with the grant, working together with my supervisor was so basically so efficient trying to meet the grant's expectation, because if the grant milestone is not met, future grant will be very difficult to secure. So my supervisor was very, very efficient on that, and because of that I learned a lot. And working together with my supervisor to complete the grant also mean that I'm progressing very fast on my own thesis.
Right.
So it's not about topic that is basically chosen by you or your supervisor based on the supervisor's grant. It's about how much and how willing you are to explore the topic. Yeah, a lot of time after exploring the topic, you'll find that the topic is actually very interesting. Sometimes you don't like the topic because you read too little. You do not know much about the topic.
Right.
All right.
Right. Okay. So I managed to see one comment here, and Thomas is saying, Doctor, however, sometimes even though your supervisor is in your area, but they know nothing about your topic at all. So it's tough. So I would say, as a beginner I am just giving my share, but maybe Dr. Serene can add on later on. So for me, I would think that as a student, as a beginner, we really don't know what we don't know, right? We need a supervisor to guide us, at least the first step, so that we have to start somewhere. We cannot just search the literature. You go to Google Scholar, you type in your preferred topic. There are thousands, hundreds, millions of articles. You don't know where you're going to start, right? You don't know where you want to start your topic. Your supervisor will help you to kind of narrow it down, right? Filter everything to give you a direction, right? So maybe it's in your area, maybe the supervisor is not in your area as well. That supervisor doesn't know everything. They are specializing in one particular thing, one particular area, right? Tourism management, hospitality management. They are specializing in that, but they don't know everything in tourism management, right? That's why you are here. You are PhD students. You are going to explore new knowledge. Okay, you are to explore new knowledge, and the supervisor is at the back holding your hand so that you can reach the other side of the ocean. You know what I mean? That's what I might share, right? So the supervisor cannot tell you this and that, do this. Your supervisor can only guide you. My supervisor guided me very well. So Dr. Serene, what say you about this question from Thomas? Yeah.
You are right, Wai Leong and Thomas. You basically, supervisors cannot give you all solutions. Again, supervisors are very much like mentor. They know the PhD process. They know the expectation of the examiners. Therefore, supervisors sometimes ask you, what is the industry issue? What are the literature gaps? They know these are the components important to meet the examiner's expectation, but they cannot be giving you the solution because they are not the one reading your literature. You cannot expect your supervisor to read your literature. If your supervisor knows everything about your topic to a certain extent may mean obsolete. Obsolete as in no new gaps that you can address. If there are new gaps, meaning you have to explore. You cannot expect your supervisor to tell you the gap because your supervisor have 30 topics to supervise. You are the expert in your own PhD topic, not your supervisor. You are the one who educate your supervisor, and your supervisor is the one who tell you whether your content is good enough to meet the examiner's expectation. Therefore, supervisor and students supposed to work as a team. You present to your supervisor tell you, yes, correct, go ahead. Otherwise, the supervisor say, no, this is the wrong direction. Stop. Come back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Fantastic questions. Thank you. Keep them coming. We like questions, right? We don't like to be challenged, but we like to be questioned. These speakers have gone through PD, right? Have gone through Waiwa, so they are very good at answering questions. Make use of them. Right? Make use of them, 100%. So, Dr. Serene, you have put down a lot of student problems, okay? Just now you mentioned a lot of student problems and things like that. So as a supervisor, 13 years already, there must be some kind of expectations that when you receive a new student or when with your current 13 students or 10 PhD students, you must have some kind of expectations, what you want from them. So what are some of the things that you think you expect or other supervisors would expect?
Yeah, there are 10, yeah. There are 10 tips here that we are sharing. Yeah, we put in basically in a structured way. All right. Number one is about meeting. Yeah, maintaining meeting. Meeting supervisors frequently is very important. Meeting here does not mean face-to-face meeting. Yeah, you can actually meet like what we are doing right now, virtual meeting. You can meet or discuss through WhatsApp. Yeah, you can discuss through email. But meeting is actually very important because like many of you were saying, you need momentum. Yeah, after talking to the supervisor or maybe knowing that you're going to meet the supervisor in 2 weeks, give you the momentum, give you the motivation to read and prepare for the meeting, right? So making sure that you always meet your supervisor is very important. There's one question about how frequent, yeah, how frequent, depending on what stage of PhD you are in. Before proposal defense, maybe semester 1, 2, and 3, I tend to meet with supervisor very frequent, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, once every 2 to 3 weeks, to make sure that the content is correct. Yeah, so meeting frequency, and I would expect students to tell me, yeah, to tell me when they are ready to meet. I do not want to tell students when to come and see me. If the students do not see me, I will be more than happy because I have 30 students, yeah, who is trying to book my time. So if you do not set meeting with me earlier, then I will not remind you. Therefore, it's your job to make sure that you always maintain meeting frequency with your supervisor. After each meeting, make sure you ask your supervisor, yeah, what is next? Yeah, when is the next meeting? Would it be 1 month from here or from now? And what are the expectations? What should I accomplish in the next meeting? Yeah, you want to set timeline for yourself, and you also want to set your own milestone. So let's say your supervisor say, okay, next meeting I want literature review chapter to be right, to be done up. Yeah, I want you to send me the slides on literature review. Then you know what is next for you. You can plan your time accordingly. Before the meeting, make sure you send reminder to your supervisor. At the same time, you also want to remind supervisor what you are going to discuss. Some students, they just email me or WhatsApp me saying, Doctor, can I see you tomorrow? And stop there. I don't even know what is the purpose of the meeting. If I do not know the purpose, how can I prepare for the meeting? And how do I make sure that the meeting is fruitful? In no way, right? So maintain meeting frequency and also managing meetings are very, very important. Very important. Yeah, that is the first tip.
Meeting. Good. Thank you. Okay,
Second,
before that, and everybody please write your notes, right? You have a workbook. There are points for you to write down. Please write down. These are things that you can apply. Again, if you think it's useful for you, suitable for your blood type, suitable for your taste bud, take it. If you think it's not relevant, drop it. Okay, that is from the speaker's experience, definitely. Okay, no right, no wrong. Okay, continue on. The second tip that Dr. Serene wants to share is?
The second tip is about decent written work quality. Yeah, writing is not easy. Writing is not easy, but the more you write, the more you practice, yeah, it becomes easier and easier.
That's
it
right.
becomes easier. So you cannot be just writing something and submit to your supervisor without revising. Supervisor is not teacher, yeah, it's not teacher, it's not proofreader. You don't expect a supervisor to proofread your work. Usually, like what I mentioned earlier, 7 people determine your passing. Yeah, in UPM's case, 7 people determine your passing. In some private university, only 5 people determine your passing. Yeah, for example, private university, a lot of times they only have 2 main supervisors. They have 3 examiners. That's all, 5 people. So how do examiners determine whether or not your PhD thesis is meeting the requirement, PhD requirement? They evaluate you based on your chapter, right? Your written chapter. They don't see you face to face. There's no oral examination before they submit the report based on your thesis, your written thesis. So if your written thesis is not done well, maybe Viva will not happen. Viva may not happen, right? So in order to pass the screening, you need to make sure you write well. That's why as supervisor, we always, the first few semesters, semester 1, semester 2, we always want the idea, the direction of the framework is being finalized, agreed upon by all the supervisors, 2 or 3 supervisors. Subsequently, we will want the students to start writing. So when students are writing, we cannot be just guiding students sentence by sentence because we have no time. Number 1, we have no time. Number 2, that is not the supervisor's job. Supervisor is quite similar to examiner already. Supervisor is quite similar to gatekeeper of the PhD quality. So we can just tell you what is right, what is wrong, but we cannot be correcting your sentences. Therefore, we expect students to attend writing workshop, yeah, to learn writing tips, yeah, to learn basically writing strategy, thesis writing on their own. Yeah, they cannot depend on supervisor. So when the supervisors ask you to submit chapters, thesis chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, for example, from proposal defense, I would advise you to, number one, refer to other thesis sample. Yeah, make sure you revise your work 3 times before you submit to a supervisor, because we are all human. We make mistakes. Make sure you submit decent written work quality to your supervisor, so that your supervisor can focus on the content of your literature or the content of PhD, rather than correcting grammar, rather than correcting your typo mistake. So decent written work is very, very important. That is tip number 2. Number 3, you can see on the screen, yeah, on the slide, follow thesis content and format. Being PhD candidate, you are expected to work independently. Yeah, PhD thesis content and format is available on internet, available on in the library, available in many different places. You can even ask from your supervisor a sample thesis. Some students, they just came to me and asked, what should I write in chapter 1? What should I write in chapter 2? Those are very basic information that you can get elsewhere. Yeah, we don't expect you to come and ask us to tell you exactly A to Z. We want you to explore. We want you to get sample. We want you to know what are the expectations by reading sample thesis before you come to us. Yeah, thesis content and format is available in many places. You can even attend workshop. You don't expect to learn everything from a supervisor. Workshops are very, very important. Yeah, for those who want to keep momentum. When I did my PhD, whenever I feel a little bit lazy, a little bit down, a little bit lost, I usually sign up workshop. Yeah, workshop 1 day, 2 day was workshop. Workshop give you the motivation, give you the momentum. At the same time, we do not need to submit assignment. So that is the best way. That is the best way, right? So learn thesis content and format on your own. Find sample. Yeah, try not to ask help from supervisor on not so important things. Yeah, find out on your own. So that's tip number 3. Number 4, address all comments. Although we agree, although we are okay, or maybe we do not mind students disagree with us, but we cannot tolerate students skipping comment. Skipping as in the mistake that we pointed out in the last meeting. This meeting, again, the same issue happened. So that just show that the students are not taking the comment seriously. The fact that we have 30 students, almost 30 students, we take time to read the chapter content, we take them to listen to the explanation, or maybe we take them to check your slides, we give you comment, we took our time. We actually put in a lot of effort in giving you comment. But students do not take it seriously. That is something that we cannot tolerate. If you address the comment, but you disagree with some of the comment, it's fine. But you're trying purposely to skip the comment, that is very, very bad. We actually have one case where the student always trying to double check the supervisor's comment with another professor. The professor is being asked, this is what my supervisor asked me to do. Do you think it's reasonable? So at the end, the candidate actually came back to the main supervisor and said, whatever you told me, I don't think it's reasonable, because according to the professor, this is not required. This is not relevant anymore. So can we just, basically do away with this comment? No supervisor can tolerate you checking them. It's not your responsibility to check whether your supervisor is giving you the right comment, or maybe your supervisor is capable enough, or your supervisor is actually doing the job well. You do not judge your supervisor. You do not do unnecessary things lah. Do not do unnecessary things. Whatever comment given by supervisor, take it seriously. Be grateful that your supervisor give you comments. Some supervisor, they don't give comment. They just say everything is going well, everything is good. But then after 4 years, you still do not get your proposal defense. You still do not get any progress. So having supervisors giving you comment is actually a good thing. Take it seriously.
Yep.
And basically the fifth tips, yeah, in this line is actually expressing appreciation. Expressing appreciation here does not mean that supervisors want you to buy gift, or maybe buy them lunch, or maybe buy them expensive jewelry. Appreciation here can be shown by taking notes, listening carefully, right? Listening carefully during supervision meeting. Some of my students, they were very serious. They even asked me whether she can record our conversation or meeting, yeah, using a phone or maybe using a recorder, audio recorder. But some students are very extreme. They do not record. I mean, recording sometimes is actually fine. Yeah, a lot of students record our conversation so that the student can go back, replay, and make sure they understand each and every word that I say. They make sure they understand each and every comment. But there are also another group of students who do nothing during PhD meeting. They do not bring notebook. They do not bring pen. They do not record anything. They just sit down there with their hands crossed, as if they are listening to the employee talking to them, as if they were watching a movie. That kind of attitude shows they have very low appreciation for supervisor. So how do you show appreciation to supervisor? Number one, during PhD supervision meeting, make sure you bring notebook, make sure you bring a pen, you take down important notes, you take down the main comments, and then you address them accordingly. Second, you can even send a thank you note. Yeah, we do not really expect gifts, but we really appreciate if the students thanks us for reading their work, for giving them comment. I actually have a soft spot in my heart. Yeah, whoever students who thank me, I feel motivated to get them, to help them the next time. Of about 10, 15, 10 over students who are my main supervisors, those who are grateful, yeah, those who thank me, who are grateful, who actually address the comment very well, these are the people who will get quick response from me. The students who came in with their hands crossed during PhD meeting and they did not take note, they did not even say thank you, as if this is okay, this is what the supervisors are supposed to do, this is what they are being paid for. Take supervisors for granted. These are the students whom I will put them as basically the long queue, the list where I will look at their work once I'm free. I will not respond to them immediately. They don't appreciate anyway. Why should I be helping them that much? So supervisor actually have to, basically we have time limitation, and we choose to respond to students who appreciate us more. Students who do not appreciate us more, keep waiting.
Okay. Dr. Serene just hit my brain a little bit. So everybody, please write down in your notebook, right? Dr. Serene has another saying now, right? Write down, right? It's very important. In every supervisor, comma, write that down in your book. It's very important. In every supervisor, comma, there is a soft spot. Okay? In every supervisor, that's by Dr. Serene, she says. In every supervisor, there is a soft spot, right? So it's not about materials that you give to your supervisors. It's mainly your sincere appreciation for what they have done for you, okay? The soft spot, you got to hit that soft spot, okay? That will help you a lot in managing your supervisors, right? So we have one question here by our future Dr. Moino. Later on, we might address this later on. This is about in-citation technique manual. Okay, we will address this later on in the Q&A session. So we let Dr. Serene move on with her topic, right? With her points. Yep. Dr. Serene, back to you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, next, let's listen to a story about one student who did not work well with supervisor. One student who did not work well with supervisor, and the student was working full-time on PhD. Full-time PhD, generally, we expect completion within 3 to 4 years. The student ended up completing took about 7 years to complete. 7 years, almost double the journey, being full-time. Full-time and 7 years.
Wow, that's long.
Longer than you, Dr. Wai Leong.
Wow.
So what happened?
Is that your
Not
student?
really my student. I was co-supervising the student. I was co-supervising the student.
My goodness.
What happened was, number one, the student did not manage a supervisor very well. The student did meet supervisor very often, but every time they meet, they talk about anything else except PhD work. They talk about family, they talk about life, they talk about
Politics.
anything else except PhD work. This is wrong.
Yes.
This is wrong. If you do not ask the right question, your supervisor will not be able to give you the right answer. If you just started by telling a supervisor your life, the supervisor will just be listening. You need to tell a supervisor what you expect to discuss in the next meeting. I always want my supervisor, my student, when they make appointment, can I see you next week? I will ask them for what purpose? What are we supposed to discuss? And usually our PhD supervision meeting maybe lasts within 30 minutes. 30 minutes we talk about PhD work only. We do not talk about any other things. No need to be polite. No need to actually start with small talks. No need to ask about family. No need to talk about the weather. No need to talk about the country politics. Just straight away down to the point. You need to prepare for the meeting and you need to tell your supervisor what you would like to get advice on. Usually students prepare bring framework, and then maybe from there take it as a discussion point. That's number one. Number two, this student is actually very, very hardworking, very, very hardworking. Attend all kind of workshops, attend all kind of coursework. In PhD, in UPM, we only require students to attend 3 coursework. For PhD, 3 coursework. After the 3 coursework, the students are expected to work on PhD thesis 100%. No more coursework, no more assignment. But this student attend all additional coursework on audit basis. Keep attending coursework. Keep thinking that he is not learning enough. Keep thinking that he's not ready for PhD. So when you are attending too much of the classes, you have lesser time for your own PhD write-up, and that delays his completion. That's number 2. Number 3, he is also the kind who is, I would say, who is not very confident about his supervisor. If you are not confident with a supervisor, you think a supervisor is not helpful, you think a supervisor is not helping you, you think a supervisor is not capable in the topic, then you might want to consider changing supervisor in the first or second semester. Don't try to change supervisor after working for maybe 3 years with your supervisor. That is a waste of your time and also waste of your supervisor's time. What happened was he wasn't very confident about the supervisor's comment, so you always check the supervisor's comment, double check the comment with another professor. To him, the professor is actually more experienced. If that is the case, why don't you just work under the professor instead of this young supervisor, right? So I mean, there are many reasons why student did not work well with supervisor, but because of him not working with a supervisor, he ended up double the time for PhD completion. Instead of 3 years, it took about 7 years. So I mean, that's something that we can learn from this case. All right, let me continue with the other 5 tips. I think my time is running out. My time is actually running out, isn't it, Wai Leong?
You still can go on. You still have 15 minutes time.
All right, okay. So the next tip is about managing your drafts well. Supervisor, like what we said earlier, we have about 30 topics in our mind. 10 main supervisor, 20 co-supervisor. So whatever we comment earlier, we might forget. We may not remember. So in the next, after a few meetings, we may repeat the same comment. Therefore, it's very important that you manage the draft very well. Every time you write on your slide, every time you write on your thesis draft, keep those drafts accordingly. If you repeat the same comment, if you already commented, you already addressed, and we bring up again, at least you can show us that we have mentioned that before. So manage your draft accordingly. You don't expect your supervisor to remember what they say, right? You have to remind your supervisor. Next is about taking ownership. Taking ownership is actually, very much depending on what the student's expectation on their supervisor. Again, you don't expect your supervisor to know everything. Therefore, it's good that you assume, that you have to take charge of your own journey 100%. If you don't expect guidance, don't expect much input from a supervisor, and your supervisor do not give you much input, you don't feel bad, you don't feel upset, right? You don't feel frustrated. You just need to remember that you are the one who carry the PhD hat at the end. All right. So if you take ownership, you understand the topic very well. At the end, when people call you Doctor So and So, you feel very proud. You can carry the hat. You can carry the title. You can answer very well. Some students, they are expecting too much from supervisor. They keep thinking that the supervisor should know my topic. My supervisor should know what are the gaps. My supervisor should know what are the variables that I should add in. That is wrong perception. Yeah, you are the one doing your own PhD. You are the expert. Yeah, in your area. Supervisor only can guide you, can tell you whether your work is enough or not enough. Right. So that is taking ownership. And like what we mentioned just now, if the topic is your own selection, generally student can take better ownership rather than the title given by supervisor. So you think about it. If you think that you like your own topic, by all means, no need. You can politely reject topic proposed by a supervisor. The next tip is about agree on scope of the study. Some students are perfectionists, super perfectionist. They keep telling me, my student, one of them, they keep telling me, she keep telling me that she thinks her framework is not enough. She thinks her number of variables are not enough. She thinks her framework is too simple. She keep wanting to add variables. I told her it's enough. Basic, meet the basic requirement is enough. You are ready for PD. She keeps saying, no, I'm not ready. So if she keeps wanting to add variable, if she keeps wanting to change theory, it's going to take forever. To me, graduate on time, follow the PhD timeline, graduate within 3 years is the best way to keep your momentum. If you have not been progressing well, your momentum definitely will be losing. If your momentum is losing, it's very difficult for you to start up again. Very, very difficult. So scope of study, just agree with your supervisor's advice. Do not be perfectionist. There's another student who keep wanting to change title. Why she wants to change title? Partly because whenever the supervisor asks her to justify literature gap, she cannot find the gap, and then she said, okay, I think this title is too comprehensively done. Nothing much I can add. Therefore, I want to change title. If you keep changing title, the same thing. Yeah, you are back to the square one. You are stepping on the own ground. You are not progressing. Yeah. So scope of the study, leave it to your supervisor. If your supervisor says it's enough, it is enough. Yeah. Don't be perfectionist. Keep the more challenging or maybe interesting title or more complicated title after your PhD. After you get a PhD title. All right. Next is about keeping the relationship intact. Yeah. Intact as in keeping a relationship with a supervisor very well. How can you do it? A few ways. One of my students has been very, very kind, knowing that I'm very busy, having to supervise about 30 students at the same time, having to take care of 2 classes. She actually offered to help in tutoring my students. That is the kind of relationship, that is the kind of strategy students can use to enhance relationship with supervisor. You can offer your supervisor to help in tutorial classes, or you can offer your supervisor to help in supervising undergraduate final year project, so that your supervisor have more time to read your drafts, right? So that's number one. Offer help. Offer help. When you offer help, actually you are gaining some experiences. When you teach in tutorial classes, when you supervise undergraduate, you actually learn something as well, and the learning can help you in your PhD progress. Number two, you can enhance support relationship with your supervisor by proposing a research title that both of you can apply for a grant. So if both of you are applying grant based on your title, and then if the grant is approved, your supervisor will be very much more motivated to read more about your topic, because your supervisor also wants to make sure that the grant milestone is met. Number three, both of you can start writing paper together. When you start publishing together, both of you are actually working as a team, and then by getting the work published, it's good for your CV. At the same time, it's actually good for the supervisor's KPI, meeting KPI. So publication, grant, and also offer help is actually the 3 good way to enhance the supervisor relationship. And finally, if you really cannot work well with your supervisor, it's good that you know early. You know early as in semester 2. Don't wait until close to your proposal defense time, semester 3 or semester 4. It's definitely too late. Sometimes it's not your fault. I know. Sometimes it's not students' fault. It's supervisor's fault. Some supervisor never be around. Whenever you want to contact them, you just never able to contact them. Number two, some supervisors, they are being too nice. Too nice as in they do not give you any comment. They keep saying everything is good, everything is well, no comment at all. Did not tell you what is right, what is wrong. Number three, supervisor may be abusing student. If your supervisor abused you, right? Tell you, please buy me lunch. Yeah, please get the car for servicing. Those are the kind of supervisor where maybe it's the wrong one. You might want to change. There are also supervisors who basically abuse the students' work. Yeah, they took the students' work, they published without acknowledging the student, or maybe without inviting the student to be the co-author. Those are the wrong. Yeah, those are the wrong supervisors. But you need to detect early, because if you want to change supervisor, you have to change it early as semester 2. Anything beyond semester 2 to me is too late. All right, that's all from me. Dr. William, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Serene. So you just now mentioned something that really I start to dig out my mind a little bit. So you talk about don't be a perfectionist, right? So maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I was a perfectionist. I was having that perfectionist mindset, right? If this is not done well, I won't go to the next step and stuff like that. So along the way, I realized what you said is really true, right? I stopped to become a perfectionist because I'm not moving, right? For a certain period of time, maybe 1 year, 2 years, I was not moving because I was trying to perfect everything. Till then, I realized, right, being a perfectionist won't work. But instead, I chose to become a progressionist, right? We got to make progress. Everybody, please write this down. We got to make progress. You cannot make perfect everything, okay? Be a progressionist, not a perfectionist. Yes, so just make progress every single day, every single month, every single year. You will be there one day, right? Don't be perfect. Nothing is perfect. Okay. So I want to summarize another point just now. Dr. Serene said, when we are not sure, as a student, yes, when I was not sure, I asked. Okay, and I asked the right person. Of course, my supervisors and the committee members. Okay, when I asked the right person, I asked the right questions. I don't ask about politics. I don't ask about how my plants grow this morning. I don't ask about how my car is speeding this morning. No, I don't ask all those questions. I ask very specific, laser focus in my PhD, specific questions that I want to address, right, with my supervisors. So very important that when we are not sure, ask the right person. When we ask the right person, ask the right questions, right? This is what just now Dr. Serene has mentioned. That's very important as well for me. Okay, and of course the last thing that I realized, behind every successful student, supervisors can be pain in the neck, right? Can be really painful for you. Okay, but I always believe in this thing. After 8 years, right, I believe in this thing. Behind every successful student, there is always a fussy supervisor. Write this down. Behind every successful student, there is always a fussy supervisor. Why? If your supervisor doesn't care about you, doesn't bug you, doesn't text you, when are you going to submit your job? When are you going to PD? When are you going to graduate? You are not going to, nobody is pushing you. You are living in your own world. You are living in your comfort zone. You're not moving. So your supervisor is also playing that babysitting role. I call my supervisor Dr. Ho the nagging nanny, right? Nagging nanny, keep nagging me so that I move every single day. Okay, I think this is a good thing for me to push. At the end, I cannot say I am not progressing. I must progress. I must make every baby step movement to get my thesis done, right? So, trust me, behind every successful student, there is a fussy supervisor. If your supervisor is not fussy, you got to think about whether you want to change to another fussy one. I'm just saying. So, fussy supervisors give you the advantage that they are pushing you, they are keeping you accountable, they are keeping you on the track, right? It's important for you. So forgive them. It's their job. Push you, right? It's their job to put you on track. It's their job to graduate you. Okay? So students, yes. Dr. Chan Hak Leong say, this student becomes fussy for others. Yes, and you got a fussy supervisors. When you graduate, you can become that fussy person to another student, right? When you get a PhD. Yes, be a fussy supervisor because they are so responsible enough. They are just responsible enough. Make sure you graduate. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Serene, for a lot of insightful sharing, but it brings back a lot of my good old memory, I would say bittersweet memories with my supervisors. Of Dr. Ho again is watching me. I cannot simply say things, right? So,
Thank
wait,
you, Dr. Chan Wei Liang.
no worries.
And yeah, and I'll see you guys later today. Yeah. Thank you for listening to all participants. I think some of you were in my class. Yeah, and Hak Leong. Yeah. Hello, see you again. Hak Leong was supervised by Dr. Dalia and me. So many of you, Anik as well. Yeah. Lawrence, Gao Ji, and so I mean many of you are already progressing, and many of you already started the journey. I'm glad that you are joining this conversation because you need momentum. Yeah, you need to learn along the way. There are days that you feel down, and these are the days that you need to listen to how people do their PhD. Yeah, to pick up some tips. Thank you so much. I'll see you
Dr.
guys
Serene,
later.
one more question. One more question.
Yes.
Okay, maybe we just quickly take this question by future Dr. Moino. So he was asking about in citation, what technique you suggest to follow manual? It might be not your top, it might not be your topic now, but then you might want to quickly just address that. Are you using anything for citation or
I use EndNote.
EndNote?
Yes.
Is it possible that you type in the chat box so that everybody can see? EndNote, right?
Yes, EndNote.
Okay, everybody, that's the nugget for you from Dr. Serene, right? Take it.
Referencing software you can learn in the workshop. Yeah, you can learn, sign up 1 day or 2 days workshop, to learn referencing software. But having said that, yeah, not only depending, you should not 100% depend on the referencing software. You need to manually check. Yeah, the software is not 100% reliable. A lot of time the citation format is wrong. Yeah, the one that is being
That's right.
basically automatically added in is wrong. You need to manually change from time to time, depending on whether you make the in-text the in-text citation part of the sentence or outside of the sentence. Yeah, the format is different. But I don't think software cater to these two differences. So sometimes you need to manually change them.
Okay, for me, last time I used Google Scholar. There's a citation thing there, so I click there. But then it's not totally 100% correct. But at least there is a format there already. Then I manually check again. So at least you don't need to type every single letters and words. You can just copy the thing. Go to Google Scholar, click on the cite button. Then you can see down there. Then just copy paste and then see again and rearrange if it is not in accordance, right? Okay, good. So, Dr. Serene say thank you, future doctors, thank you. Everybody say thank you to Dr. Serene. Okay, thank you, Dr. Serene, for coming today. And yes, we appreciate your presence here. Goodbye, Dr. Serene. I'll see you.
Goodbye, Dr. Wai Liang.